Welcome to the largest digital marketing conference of East Europe, Digital Zone. Conference will begin after then our special show.
Makes me feel like the future is now.
Break of dawn, singing. The break of dawn, singing.
It's the fifth time of me. It's your third?
It's my third time, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The first time we met with you at Romania at SEM Days.
Yes.
It was yeah. When I first saw your presentation, it's like the first time, first law, and I said that I need to get her to the Istanbul for the Digital Zone, and thank you for accepting all our invites, and I really appreciate to see you as an MC of our event.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you, everybody, for having me as well, especially since I'm speaking in a strange tongue.
Yeah.
Funny accent, that, for somebody who's here from the UK.
But I think your accent is quite understandable and
that's lucky.
Not that much hard for me.
It's the chocolate, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've brought chocolate with me on stage because, you know, I'm well known for chocolate love. Just remember my session.
Yeah,
Chocolate for
she has
questions.
really interesting career, and the chocolate is not a hobby for you. It's also a professional stuff, and you are judging on the chocolate contest and the stuff like this, and also emceeing in a chocolate conference.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
See, I'm judgmental in every industry I'm in, whether it's search or chocolate.
Yeah, your all hobbies are just the professional judging stuff. And it's the 5th time for the Digital Zone. We start in 2013. Who is coming for the first time to the Digital Zone? Okay,
Oh, wow.
great. Second time? Yeah, great. Third time? Okay, we need to give free tickets to you. For the 4th time? Okay, for the 5th
Ooh.
time? That's only me. Some of my friends, Serva, Ilyas, and the Zio crew. So thank you for all the Zio team. They are doing great job, and we are not working with any organization company. It's all made by our consultants and then our event coordination team, and Zeynep and Barış especially. Thank you for their efforts. So today we have different sessions on the different topics, but I just want to make an announcement about the latest politics problems with the United States of America. Unfortunately, we have 2 less speakers, and we made some backup plans, but I hope that you still enjoyed our conference too. So the first session is about the content, and Judith and Majid will join today for us, and then you're MC, but I'm announcing you and then leaving the stage.
So we've come up together, but you're leaving me alone,
Yeah,
abandoning me to my fate.
Yeah, if you need, I can join to do some kind of stuff, but I think that alone is better.
You could be my backup dancer.
Yeah, maybe,
You could
maybe.
dance.
If you need, just sign to me and then I come to you.
You could hand out my chocolate too.
Yeah. Okay, great. Judith has some kind of a unique stuff in here. If you are asking the questions after the presentation, you can get really delicious chocolate. It's not like something you can buy from superstore. And she's doing a judgment for just lots of chocolate contest. So it's a great opportunity, and I need to write my questions. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Higit. And thank you very much, everyone. Hopefully I won't speak too quickly for you. But remember, there's always chocolate for questions. Now, does someone have a clicker for me for the slides? I could just wave my hands and be like, next slide, next slide. Oh, there, see, you're meant to be my backup dancer, Higit. Thank you very much. So this is me. This is who I am. I've been around a long time. I've been around a really long time, but it's my 10th year of speaking at conferences, so it's my 10th year of getting up on stage and being the center of attention and swearing a lot. And those of you who were here the year before last will remember just how much I made the poor woman in the box swear. Because I'm not polite. And as you can see, I've lost a lot of weight since last year. Thank you for noticing. I'm Canadian, that's how I managed to get here. But also I'm here from the UK, so I think our politics are in a better place with Turkey right now, which is always an important good thing. But I'm here to talk about content. So today, my session is about ensuring that you make content that will inspire people to come to your site and read about it and buy your stuff. But the way that we consume content has changed. My degree is in psychology. So for those of you who don't know, I did a specialized honors degree in psychology back in 1994. And I wrote my thesis on social media in order to graduate. So I've been doing or involved in social media since the 1980s, which is a long time. I am that old. That was my teenage years that I was on the internet in social media learning how to date boys. And content, let me tell you, has really changed since back then. But what hasn't changed is we all pretend to be different people online as opposed to what we're like in real life. I try to maintain a balance. I swear as much online as I do offline. So if you read my tweets, you'll see. But for today, content has to always be available. We're on our phones. My phone is in my back pocket, and I'm constantly on it. I'm reading things. Content needs to be available 24/7, but it also needs to be available in small, consumable chunks. So people want answers to questions. They want solutions. They want to buy the right thing, and they want to be inspired. But you only have a small amount of time to inspire people. For those of you into SEO and PPC and looking at how people read the search results, you'll know you have maybe 2 seconds to make an impression. So in that 2 seconds, we don't have much time. And that means that we need to know what the secret to catching someone's attention is so that we can get them to buy our stuff. Because ultimately, that's what we want, right? Someone to start giving us money, whether it's for our services or our products or just because they like us or whatever, you know. We want them to be giving us money, right? You're all just like, I don't know, it's early. Have I had enough coffee yet? I don't know. There's this big question mark on this. Where's the chocolate? At what point do we get chocolate? You're all really quiet this morning. I hope you wake up soon. So, what we need to do is know our target audience. Is this anyone's target audience? Anyone? Anyone aim at senior you? You're like, yes, that little old lady, that's my target audience. She wears a big hat because she's on holiday, and she looks kind of cynical and kind of skeptical about what's going on here. But it's really important that we know who we're talking to. We need to understand what they need to know, and we need to know what they want. It's really hard to know what someone wants. It's hard to know what I want sometimes. I get to the restaurant last night, and I'm like, do I want beef? Yes. No. Wait, chicken looks, no. Oh, aubergine, yes. No, wait, chips. So if I don't know what I want, it's going to be difficult to know what your customers want. If you don't know what you want, how are you going to know what your customers want? So this is one of the first steps. These are logical steps that everyone should go through, but I find a lot of times, except in large businesses, people don't take the time to think. So we want to think about what do our customers want? What questions are they asking? Because I don't know if you've noticed, but questions are becoming more and more prevalent in search. People are going to Google and saying, okay, Google, how many calories are there in a glass of red wine? And Google says, I don't know. How many calories are there? I'll go check the web. And you can see that reflected in the keywords that actually you can find. Now, this is English, obviously. This is just the AdWords keyword tool. But people are asking questions. How many calories are there in a glass of red wine? Does anybody know how many calories there are in a glass of red wine? Everybody's like, no, are you kidding? I don't want to know how many calories there are. I just want the wine. I don't want to know. I just want the wine. I asked Google, and Google told me that there were 214 calories in a glass of wine. And then I said, okay, Google, sod off. I don't want to know. You're laughing. You're like, a bottle of red wine has how many calories? Forget it. I won't eat. I'll just drink. It's fine. It's fine. But the important thing I wanted to show you here was that asking the question gives you that answer box answer. So it's, some people call it Google Position 0, but it's this answer box. And if you use any sort of voice activation technology, whether it's home or your laptop with voice activation or your phone with voice activation, you will see that the answer box is what's read back out to you. So in this case, because I'm in the UK, it tells me that the Telegraph says there's 214 calories in a glass of wine, and your average wine drinker puts on half a stone a year. That's like 7 pounds a year of just wine weight. That's not a good thing. I go to the gym a lot just to make sure that I can work off my wine weight. But also, do you see down there? People also ask. That's a really important place for you to find what your customers are asking about. So when you want to know how to create an emotional connection with your customers, because that's how we get customers to come to us again and again, is we make them want us. We make them think, what's Zio up to today? What's Yigit doing this week? I really want to know. Where is he drinking? Where is he hanging out? We create emotional connections with our customers, with our clients, and that is what makes them want to come back to us instead of our competition. So we always want to be thinking about what we can do in order to attract those people back to us. So we want to make an emotional connection and answer the questions that they have. But it's not just about answering questions, because think about seasonal. If you have a product and it tends to be seasonal, let's say for me, if I look at chocolate, one of the things I learned about chocolate is that most people in the UK and in the US apparently think that chocolate truffles are just for Christmas, because there's a massive spike in searches for chocolate truffles at Christmas. In my world, chocolate truffles are for life, not just for Christmas. They should be eaten at every time of the year. They should be savored and enjoyed at Easter, at Christmas, in the middle of summer, maybe in August when it's really, really hot and you want a nice chocolate truffle to cool down. No, that really doesn't work. Don't put chocolate truffles in the fridge. It ruins them. But there's Romtoff out at the SEO Monitor stand as well. So if you don't think of a question now, there's still chocolate out there. And there are Mentos on the tables as well. So we've got sugar to keep you engaged. We want to think about our year in advance, though. So we want to have a calendar of what's going to happen in our year. How are we going to get our customers coming for different things in our calendar year? Now, I always recommend having your content ready before and creating evergreen content. That is, content that will, year after year, be looked at. For my blog, I have recipes that year after year people come back to for Christmas or for Easter or whatever. Valentine's Day, lovely chocolate cupcakes. I have lovely brownie recipes. Hopefully I'm getting you hungry for chocolate now, right? You're all like, yeah, brownies, chocolate cupcakes. When do we get to ask questions? Because I need some chocolate now, because now I'm craving chocolate. It's just too long. So these are some of the ideas that you can look at to look at trends in your search volume. Of course, Google AdWords tool, the keyword planner, also gives you that information. But as we know, don't trust the keyword planner. You all know that, right? The keyword planner lies to us. Am I shocking you all? You're all like, what do you mean? Those aren't real numbers? It's not 10 people per month that are doing this search? I'm sorry to burst your bubble. The keyword planner lies to you. It deceives you with numbers and makes you think it loves you. And then it says, no, I'm sorry, I'm with her or him. So we want to do our keyword research, though, anyway, even though the keyword planner lies to us. We still love it, right? Sometimes we love to hate something, and Google is one of those things that I love to hate. And, it's necessary evil in our world. So do your keyword research. So tie user intent to keywords. So what are you selling? What are the questions that you need to answer? And how do you bring those together in order to help your customer solve a problem, answer a question, do something that they need to do or get done? How are you helping somebody answer a problem? For those of you in agencies, how are you helping your client look awesome to their boss so that they get a raise or they get a promotion? And as an agency, our job is to make our client look even better. And if we do that well, every time they get a promotion, they'll keep recommending us. And then if they go to other agencies, or companies, I should say, or if their staff go to other companies, they'll remember we were the ones that made them look good. So we want to think about that and think about high search volume but low competition terms. Now, for those of you who were here last year, you'll remember that I taught you how to make one of these charts. So these charts are made using SEMrush data and looking at competitors as well as doing some keyword research of your own. And you can see I've got, this is just because we're talking wine, and it's early in the morning, so it's too early to have wine, but we can think about wine, right? We can imagine wine for later. And in this case, it's Spanish wine. And you can see here, wine in Spain is a very searched for keyword, but there's not a lot of people that are competing for it. By competing, I mean the number of search results that are appearing when someone types in a search, wine in Spain. But down at the bottom, you can see cavas. Now, cava is a type of sparkling white wine in Spain. So it's a very specific kind of white sparkling wine. But cavas, not a lot of people are looking for, but a lot of people are optimizing towards. So we know we don't want to go for that, and we do want to go for wines in Spain. We also have dry Spanish wine, Reserva wine, wine map of Spain, best Spanish wine, and all of this data is from one tool. All it is the search volume mapped against the competitiveness or the number of results for that search. And it's just a straight pull out of SEMrush, take the data, change it into a log scale, and then map it out on a scatter graph. Super easy. And if you were here last year, I don't know, there might be some recordings of the sessions last year. You can always look that one up on how to do that. But it's not just about doing the keyword research. So it's not just about understanding what your customers want, but also creating a visualization of that keyword to content. So we want to make sure we're building the right content, but that we're not just continually building the same content with different words. Now, some of you I know might be doing some naughty things with personal blog networks and things like that, where you spin out lots of content to different sites and then use those sites to point links at your money site. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the kind of content that the money site has, so your main site. So we want to take all of our keywords that we want to take this big map of keywords that we've just done, and it's just all over the place. So if we do our keyword research, we've got groups, and then we think, well, we have all these keywords. What are we doing with them? So that's when we want to map out, ooh, look at that, I turned myself off. Oh, I'm on again. So we want to map out the content. So we want to do something like this. This is maybe a little bit more involved than you want to get, but what I wanted to show you was an example of mapping out content by day of week, week of month, month of year. So you can think about in advance from your keyword research what you're going to write about, so that you don't always write about the same thing, but also you create a calendar that enables you to say, okay, on this week I can see we're meant to be writing about this particular topic because we're about to launch something, or because it's the time of year. So we know that Eid's coming up and we want to make sure that our content is out there about that, or we know that Valentine's Day is coming up and we want to make sure we have content about how we all love search, because Valentine's is about love and we all love search, right? Right? Yes? No, we all hate search. We're here because it's a job. Do we all love search? Yeah, you're waking up a little bit. Thank you. So we want, because we love search, we want to make sure we're mapping out our keywords and our themes. And remember, don't write on the same, don't pick one keyword for one page or one keyword for one blog post. Think about the whole system of your topic. So we talk about topicality. And I talked about this last year. So the whole range of keywords that are associated with the prime subject of the page. So we don't want just one keyword for one page, and to optimize one keyword, one page, we want related terms. We call them semantically related terms. So words that mean the same thing but are different. So we want those words on the page as well, not just our one keyword, because Google has invested a lot of money in understanding language, in every language. And so we know that as it rolls out country by country, Google gets more sophisticated in understanding and answering questions where the word doesn't even appear on page. So we want to make sure we're writing around the right things. But then we have to measure it. Is it actually successful? Is it doing what we wanted it to do, or are we just sort of throwing content up there and hoping it sticks? It's like baking or boiling pasta and taking your pasta and throwing it at the wall and hoping some of it sticks to the wall for a while and then calling it art and putting it in the Tate Modern in the UK and making lots of money off of it when somebody comes along and pays £10,000 for the spaghetti you threw against the wall. Yeah, I'm not sure that that's art, but I'm sure that somebody made a lot of money doing that once. So we want to make sure we measure the right things. We don't just want to hope with our bowl of spaghetti as we throw it against the wall that some of it sticks. And that's before the tomato sauce. After the tomato sauce, we know we've got a beautiful mess, and we will be able to sell it as art. But before the tomato sauce, it's just pasta, and we have to hope it creates art. So we don't want to do that. We want post-tomato sauce spaghetti. Because we know post-tomato sauce spaghetti, we get art. So we want to measure the right things. You're like, what? Is this like, have you had breakfast this morning? Why do you keep talking about food? So we want to think strategically. What content do we already have that is bringing us traffic? So what is our existing traffic? Where is it coming from? Why is it coming to us? What is it doing? How is it moving through our site to make our sales? So right now, with a client in the US, we're mapping out information around where do people land from search, and then where do they go? Like, are they landing there and then going off because they're like, who cares? I don't know. I read it. I didn't understand it, but I do know that there are 214 calories in a glass of large red wine now. So I'm off down to have a Diet Coke. We also want to know what content actually gets people clicking and sharing, right? We want them to share our stuff. We don't just want to throw it against the wall and sell it for $10,000 because it's art. We want to throw it against the wall and have people share it because they love it. And what keywords are you focusing on? Think about the whole ecosystem of words. Don't just be too focused, but think about everything. Write naturally. Write the way you would talk, because you're talking to the person who lands. Your home page is no longer the first page of your site. Your home page is no longer your home page. Why? Because no one lands at the home page anymore unless they already know your brand and they're looking for you. And if you assume that the ideal journey is from the home page through, you're missing a trick. Each individual page of your site is a landing page, and that is the page from which people need to find you and convert. So you need to think about this. You need to think about each page of your site as a landing page that someone may buy something from. So always be thinking about converting or moving on the journey from that landing page. And also, can we improve the click-through rate from organic search? Because why? We want to make ourselves look sexy in organic search and in paid search so that people pick us over the competition. It's like the dating game. You've got 10 results, plus you've got some extra 4 other results, so you've got 14 or 18 suitors, and they're all coming up, and they all want to date you, and you as the searcher have to pick. But you have to pick one to begin with, right? You go on a date, you're like, not so much. Click back into the search result, pick your next date, go in, see you're gonna stick with it for a while, see if there's that emotional connection, and if there is, you stick with them and you hopefully remember them. I'm old enough and I've been married for long enough that there are many dates that I went on that I no longer remember. And I apologize if any of you are in the audience. You won't be, but if any of you who I've ever dated and forgotten are out there watching this later on and you're like, but I remember you. I do remember some of my dates, but not all of them. So we want to be the date that gets remembered, not the date that gets forgotten and relegated to the, did I go there? When I was at this bar 3 weeks ago with someone. Who was it? We don't want to be that person, right? So we want to be the person that is the answer. We want to be the date that everyone remembers. But for our customers and our clients, we want to be the answer. So unfortunately, it doesn't offer Turkish, but one of the places that you can go to get ideas is a website called Answer the Public. You need to have done your keyword research, but after you've done your keyword research, what Answer the Public does is, as you can see, chocolate truffles in my world are for life. Chocolate truffles in the center there. So once you've done your keyword research, you put it into the tool, and then in French or Italian or German or English, what will happen is it will spin out associated questions. So you can see things like how to make chocolate truffles with digestive biscuits. Don't. Just don't make chocolate truffles with digestive biscuits. For any of you that know digestive biscuits, it's that kind of wheaty kind of stuff gets stuck in your teeth, but it's a cookie that has a chocolate covering. Don't make truffles with that. Use it for the base of your cheesecake, but don't make truffles. You can also see what truffles are made of. Chocolate, delicious, lovely, yummy chocolate, and cream, thick, gorgeous, luxuriously velvety cream. You really want truffles now, right? But you can see I've squared off chocolate truffles, will, can, where. Can chocolate truffles be frozen? No. Do not freeze your chocolate truffles. Can chocolate truffles be refrigerated? Again, no. No. With the fridge, with the freezer, no. If you get chocolate truffles, treat them well. 15 degrees. They love 15 degrees Celsius. It's an ideal temperature. That's not the temperature of your fridge or your freezer. So just say no to chocolate truffle abuse. Don't put it in the fridge or the freezer. Why are people asking this? This is wrong, people. People, shoot them. You see people putting chocolate truffles in their fridge, just say, the next time I catch you doing that, it's the end for you. But these are the questions that people are asking. Now, for me, I want to be the answer, and I want the answer box in Google to just say no. Just simple. Can I freeze chocolate truffles? No. This is my suggestion to Google. Just say no. No. Can they be frozen? No. No. Can they be refrigerated? No. How do I make them from digestive biscuits? No. Don't is the answer there. So we want to be thinking differently now, and we want to promote our content, maybe without chocolate truffles. So we want to think about what have people shared before, and interestingly enough, we've got wine pairing with chocolate. So how to host a simple chocolate and wine pairing party. How? You have the wine, you have the chocolate, you eat the chocolate, you drink the wine. Easy. There you go, solved. It can be an answer box. But this is what people have shared on wine pairing, and that's BuzzSumo is that tool. And what that tells us is what people are interested in, what they're inspired by, what sparks their imagination, what they want to share with their friends to look cool. I'm not so sure why Thanksgiving perfect wine pairing top American Pinot Noir is shared so much, but I suspect a conspiracy of the Pinot Noir manufacturers in Oregon. You've also got smoked salmon crostini and wine pairing. Smoked salmon crostini. I just forget the smoked salmon crostini, the wine. Just focus on the wine. But you can see this is cheesecake and wine pairing. Yes, I approve. Answer box for Google. Yes. Any cheesecake, any wine, yes is the answer. Maybe a nice white. So you can also see where it gets shared. So in this case, I went with wine pairing because wine pairs with all good things in life: chocolate, cheesecake, dessert, main meals, starters, sadness, happiness, new pet, new baby, everything. Wine pairs with everything. But you can see here where it gets shared, mostly on Facebook, but also very heavily on Pinterest. And the one part I would like you to pay most attention to from this BuzzSumo information is average shares by content type. Now, I know the font is small, so you may not be able to see it, but how article. How is one of the most shared types of content, especially on Pinterest. But how? How to pair wine with food. How do you do this? How do you do that? Those are questions. So we can see marrying BuzzSumo up with our answer the public or our questions, our research is excellent. But also look, day of the week, Monday, Facebook, Tuesday, Pinterest, Wednesday, Facebook, Thursday and Friday, Facebook mainly, but on Friday, Facebook and Pinterest. So we know what day of the week to share stuff on. But we also want to make sure that we're monitoring things all the time, right? And we're looking for our dashboard. So we want to create a dashboard to make it easy for us, because we don't want to work too hard. We've done our keyword research. We know not to put chocolate truffles in the fridge or the freezer. Now we want to map out all of our content while we eat our chocolate truffles paired with a nice red. Maybe a Pinot Noir. You can see the suggestion that I have is maybe a spreadsheet, or you can do something like a newsroom where you have it on a screen and it just updates from your analytics, and it also pulls in from other APIs. But my recommendations were around looking at your metrics. So what are your best stories of the day, the week, the month, the quarter, and the year? Why? Because if you're only looking at the day or the week, you don't know what worked this month, but you also don't know what worked over the last year in this quarter. So you want to look at comparisons and averages, but you can't ignore the competition, because sometimes they launch things and sometimes they want to own conversations around things, and you want to be alerted when they start doing that. So you want to be looking at the competition and scrape their information to see what they're doing on a monitor, or you could just have a daily or weekly email that gets sent to you of what's going on. So I would say, for your success, think about, I've called it topical nodes. So think about the ecosystem, the keywords that mean the same thing, but are different words. Map it out so you have topics that you're answering the questions around. So you want to think about what they are. Think about your personas. Remember the lady in the hat? You're never going to forget the old lady in the hat. Think about that and think about personas. Is that your target audience? Who are you speaking to? You also want to think about the questions. Now, for answer box, the recommendation I've seen around is that it's about 15 to 18 words, so keep it short and snappy. Demonstrate that you're answering the question clearly. So as you could see with the Telegraph article, it said the number of calories in a 250 milliliter glass of red wine are 217. It's like burned in my memory now. Every time I have a glass of red wine, I'm going to be like, 217 calories, 217 calories. So it's like, you're on your second glass already, and it's still before noon. Seasonal content, you want to make sure that you're thinking about next year, this year, but also that you're thinking about next month, this month. So you're mapping things out now so you know what to do. You also want to have targets. don't just sort of, like I said, don't just take the spaghetti and throw it against the wall and hope it gets called art. Map things out, but also measure them and see what works and what doesn't work. Like the headline about, "You'll never believe what happened next." And everybody's like, well, what happened next? I put chocolate truffles in the fridge, and you'll never guess what happened next. They went hard, and I couldn't eat them. Spoiler alert. Sorry, I should have prefaced that with spoiler alert. And also, measure how close or far you are from your actual target. The unfortunate truth is that links rule. I did some testing recently where I put a blog post up, and I made sure that it was optimized, but not heavily linked to internally. And it was there, it was okay. It didn't do too much. I threw some, excuse my language, I threw some shitty content links at it, and it rocketed up the rankings. Then, as soon as those links disappeared, the rankings went down again. Links rule results. So unfortunately, we can put content up, but without links, we're not going to rank. And for those of you who have been told rank brain is a ranking factor, it's not. It's machine learning about how people behave. And if it's machine learning about how people behave, we want to change how people behave. We want them clicking us, remember? We want to be the date they remember. Social media links, though, aren't links. Why? If I can buy all the all the retweets I want, all the Facebook shares I want, all the Instagram love I want, if I can fake social media signals that easily, and Google would have to invest probably more resources into figuring out what's a legit social media link than it already invests in what is a legit link, there's no way it's going to use that. Not for a while yet, but in preparation for the day that Google might actually use social media links, I have thousands of bot accounts so that I can throw links and rule the internet. But of course, I can't just leave you with a bunch of things that I've said and you're like, yes, it's first thing. The coffee is still working and you've not given us chocolate yet. So I made some easy, handy-dandy tip slides. So these are the slides, or this is the slide of the points that I made just now. So you've got them in a handy slide format. And of course, the slides are up on SlideShare. So if you check my Twitter, you'll see that I've shared the deck already. So this is just a refresh of the session. However, I wanted to leave you with tips for content success. I keep talking about evergreen content. That's content that keeps giving you its love over and over again because it loves you so much and everybody loves it. Like content about how many calories are in wine. We hate it, but we love it because it gave us the answer we need. Also, keep it simple. Remember, easily digestible chunks, because we're often on the go, and maybe we're on the public transport, maybe we're waiting in line for our coffee or tea. So now, in the break after our next speaker, you'll be like, well, I'll just look at those slides for a minute. And you have like a minute maybe while you're waiting in the line for your tea, and then you're at tea. So this is what I mean by why it needs to be in small chunks. We want to be the date they remember, and we want to make it easy for them to remember us. But we also want to make it easy for them to come back and date us again and again and again. In a good way. In a good way. And of course, links. Links rule the internet. Please don't be like me and just buy spammy links. Please build legitimate, authentic links. Please. I do lots of underhanded things, but for long-term value, I always recommend that you do white hat link building. If you're like me and test lots of stuff, go ahead and buy your links off Fiverr or Fat Joe or, I don't know, what is it, Marketing Signals, Gareth Hoyle. Split up, you've got Kerbu and Marketing Signals. They used to just be spammy link sellers. Now they're less spammy link sellers. And they also sell you the tool to clean up your spammy links after you've gotten a penalty. So now we get to the point where you get to ask questions for chocolate. Are there questions for chocolate? Because I have green and blacks, very good quality, UK chocolate here. Surely there are some questions that relate to the session. But if no one has questions that relate to the session, I'll take questions about how much weight I lost or what color is my hair really. No questions. You guys, come on. No questions?
Question here.
Where is there a question?
Yeah.
Oh, you get, okay.
Yeah, somebody needs to break the ices. So we told about creating the content dashboards and then very nice tips in the end of the slides, but do you have any recommendations for the content creation process? In your projects, are you working with in-house writers or working with marketplaces? What kind of solutions you are using in UK-based clients?
Right. So do you want the real answer? Is this like still being filmed? Do the questions get filmed too?
I think that VMark can cut these places out. Okay.
So there's an excellent content spinning tool that I can post a link to later. There's one really excellent content spinning tool, but there's only really one. Unfortunately, it's in English, but it does produce at volume really good content around keywords.
Does it create readable contents, really?
Yeah, so if you have a PBN, a private network of sites that you're building content for to send links to your money site, this is the part where it's all black hat, right? Or gray. We'll call it gray. I look better in gray. Gray is like a comfy color.
Yeah, more innocent.
So like gray, fuzzy bathrobe. So that you can create good content at pretty big volume, and it will actually pass tests. You still have to check it just to make sure it's okay, but there's one tool, and I can't remember its name. I know what it looks like. I took the slide out because I thought maybe I shouldn't be recommending content spinning tools. Otherwise, I work with bloggers. So I will pay bloggers to just create content, or it gets created, if it's a big company, it gets created in-house. So they'll have a team of people that are pure content creators, and that's who creates the content. But there are lots of freelance content creators, especially in English, ex-journalism students who haven't found a job in journalism because there's no more money in journalism, and they're all destitute and living, in their parents' basement. Lots of them will create you an article for like 10 euros. Yeah. So if I would not use Fiverr, so I would either use the content spinning tool or I would use freelancers. And the more you pay a freelancer, the better the job. It's a direct correlation. And then a lot of my clients are hiring people just to do content.
Nice inspiration.
So there's chocolate right there.
I will get it. You are the only one who can talk about the content spinners in a marketing conference. You are really brave.
It's because the last conference I did was affiliates, and we talked about where to buy links, how to buy links, how to spin content. It was so you've got a question? Excellent. The chocolate's just in the front there if you want to give him chocolate. Yeah. Just the box.
It's too close to me, so I get one. The last year I got chocolate without asking questions. So this year I will ask and get no chocolate, I guess. Anyway, what's your opinion on the future of the voice search? I mean, the contents are written to be read by people, but it's getting heard by people, by smart assistants. So it's like Shakespeare's plays. I mean, he writes it to be staged, but we are reading them as a book. So are we going to change your writing strategy or copyright strategy?
So will we change the way we write because of Google reading out the answer? I think that, as I mentioned with answer box answers, we should keep it short and snappy, and we are, in a sense, writing because we expect, when it's read back, that it's being read to the person. One of the things I suggested in my last talk, because I was talking about AI and the future of search, is that you should look at flash briefings for Alexa. So you have Alexa, and you can say, okay, Alexa, what are my flash briefings? And Alexa will give you your flash briefing, but it will read out whoever you've chosen. So if you go to a site that encourages you to add their flash briefing to your Alexa. Their information is then read out every day, and so you can say, Paddy Power did it. So it's, and here's the flash briefing from Paddy Power. Today's odds on Manchester United versus Chelsea are 5-1 of there being an argument in the, whatever. So it's something that you can add. They passively receive it verbally, but your brand is being imprinted in their brain. So that's one way voice search will change things, or voice activation and reading will change things. The other with OK Google is that it reads out the answer box. So it will say, according to the Telegraph, there are 214 calories in a glass of red wine, which is a bag of cheesy Wutsits, and a bottle of red wine is 677 calories, etc. So that is what's read out. So that's why I said we want to be thinking about the questions people are asking and then putting them into the answer box. But we can't optimize and rank for the answer box unless we have links and unless we have the content and we answer the question through structured writing and markup. So you want to have how many calories in a 250 ml glass of wine? There are 217 calories in an average glass of 250 milliliters of red or whatever in order to be the answer so that you're clear that you're the answer.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to have to come down. Is it going to squeak if I come down?
You come down what?
Just to hand out chocolate.
Yeah, it's okay.
Do you want to grab the chocolate and give it to people? Thanks.
Yeah. Where's the chocolates?
Otherwise, right there at the box.
Okay.
It's like good quality chocolate.
I will bring them.
No, the box. You get the box.
Okay.
They're bigger ones anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, there's another question?
Hello. My question is that, for the last few years, content platforms and, especially the social media platforms and other content creators moving towards a video. And do you believe that maybe textual contents will fade away in the near future? Because also, VR and AR are coming up. Now the contents we see on our devices as well as in the future, AR and VR devices will change. Do you think textual contents will fade away, or will that change the way we search and also the Google answers our searches?
There's a bigger piece. So are we going to go video and text search will fade away? I don't think in my lifetime that text search will fade away. Why? Because it's very difficult to search for video content using images. So until the input is possible for me to input in what I want to find a video about, it's going to be something that we have to manually enter in order to find the video content. Video content is very engaging, and on social media, it's favored. So they prefer video content over text, and they prefer image over text. So they will reward it and show it more often. That doesn't necessarily mean that your brand will be front of mind. So I work with a wine brand, and we can easily do video content. But I also work with an animal charity, and we want to get sponsorship. But the pets that we have, they come in, and then they get adopted, and then others come in and get adopted. And each one is unique and different, but it's hard to create video content about each individual pet because it keeps coming through. Same thing for jewelry. If you have a bespoke jewelry company, it's hard to make a video, but it's easy if you have a mass market jewelry company. For one of my finance clients, we do videos to explain complicated financial things, but we also have to have textual content. I think for the next 5 to 10 years, it's unlikely that we will move too far away from text input and textual content. Video is going to be a huge piece for social, and it's going to be something that people favor, but think about all the reasons why people search. So should I put chocolate truffles in the fridge? How should I answer that with a video that requires 30 seconds or whatever, or with a textual answer box? The answer box is an easy, or text is an easy, quick answer in a consumable chunk. If I have a video, I'm demanding someone spend that time rather than quickly scan for 2 seconds and go away. So it's a balance of we're getting time poor, but we also like that engaging content. I call that Friday afternoon content, when you're kind of winding down and getting ready to go home in most places in the UK. So in the UK we have, and in Canada, on Friday afternoon, no work gets done. Everybody is on Facebook looking at cat videos. Everybody. Go around the office, it's all cat videos, or sometimes puppy videos. But that's when video content is often consumed, and for pleasure. Whereas, let's say for white goods, so fridges and freezers, don't put your chocolates in the fridge. You can see what it looks like next to someone, how it opens, how the shelves move with video content, but you still need the text. So I don't think with VR, AR, and video that text will go away, but I think we have to ensure that we're addressing what our customers want in the way that they want it. So if you're a gaming company, you absolutely have to be looking at virtual reality as well as video content. If you're a jewelry manufacturer, video will augment the images and description. So it depends on your vertical. Did you get chocolate? Chocolate's good.
Thanks a lot, Judith. Okay.
There is a lot. There's like 20 bars of very good quality chocolate. Did you have a question?
We can get the last question.
I want to ask, hello, and thank you for the talk. I want to ask about the answer box. You briefly mentioned there is a structure to it. And I think the structure could be in HTML-wise, like how you tag it, and also content-wise. Maybe you first ask the question and then reply it. And then it could also be affected by the location of the piece in the content. So in terms of these three aspects, how would you recommend a content that targets for the answer box?
How to make content to be the answer.
Yes, and how do you locate it? How do you tag it? How do you structure it as a content?
So how do you locate your answer? How do you structure it? And how do you tag it?
Yes.
Yeah. So the way that we do it with two of my clients is that with them we have an FAQ page of 2 or 3 questions on it with answers. Sometimes one of my clients put every answer on one page, which wasn't my recommendation, but it's mostly about wine, so we figured it was okay. The way to structure it that we did that worked is to have at the top the questions as in-page hyperlinks. So clicking to a target. So we're anchoring to a target, and the anchor text is for example, how many calories in a large glass of red wine. And then if you click it, it takes you to the target, which says how many calories are there in a glass of red wine. There are 217 calories in a large glass of red wine on average. Different red wines will have different calorie contents depending on the alcohol, etc., etc. But the first 15 or so words are the answer. So you don't necessarily, there's not a schema markup. Well, there probably is, but there's not a direct schema markup to guarantee the answer box, because everybody wants that. But using a page that's very tightly targeted, the questions at the top as links, and then at the bottom, the answers. And as part of a piece of content. So if you're talking about red wine, one page red wine. White wine, different page. Rosé wine, different page. Fortified wine like port, different page. Or dessert wine, sweet wine, whatever. So each one is themed, but it's not one page for a glass, one page for a bottle, and then red, white, rosé, dessert. So one page for red wine, so you would theme it around red wine, and then each of the links would be for glass, small glass, large glass, bottle. And that way, we're answering the question, and we can build more content as well. But the first 15 words, according to the wisdom of the internet and according to what's worked so far, the first 15 words after the link that specifically answer and add value and are unique, that's the answer box. So there's not really a way to scheme a markup for tagging the content as an answer easily and straightforward like there is for review or address or breadcrumbs or image, but you can do it through having the link and being very concise with the answer, 15 words or less for the answer. Does that?
Yes, very much. Thank you. Just one thing comes to mind. Why in-page links but not from another location from the site, but just in the page? Does it matter in the page? So think about the human being. So if somebody lands at that page because they've done a generic lookup and it's not the answer box, but they've done a lookup and they've clicked your result, you want to make it easy for them, right, to get immediately to the answer that they want. So you want to solve their question quickly. So by having the links at the top or a floating sidebar makes it easy to answer the question immediately on page. If you put it sprinkled through the content so I have to work to find it, I'm not. As a searcher, I'm not going to work. I'm going to leave and go to where I can find the answer quickly and easily, because remember, it needs to be in quickly consumable chunks. So if it's at the top or on a floating sidebar, perfect. If you make me work for it, I'm going to leave and go to the next result, and that can be, if enough people do it, a negative signal to Google saying, it's a bad user experience, and so I'm going to push this down because everybody who goes to this next result stays, and so I'll push that one up. They don't come back out and look for the next result. So there is a belief that if you click from a Google result to a site, stay only a few seconds, go back, click the next result, go and stay, that's a signal to Google that the first result was bad and the second result was better. This does not mean that Google is marking how long people spend on your site, nor does Google use Google Analytics and bounce rate and things like that. That's not what that is. It's you went to one result for a search, didn't like it, went to the next result, liked it. That's ultimately how it works. So it's all about what Google likes. So if you make it easy, people stay. If you make it hard, people go. It's just being kind to users and telling them don't put the truffles in the fridge. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. If you have more questions, I'm around for a while. These are my social media channels. The @JudithLewis one should already have the slide share up on it. And of course, I will see you again. Thank you very much.